as we get started with day 3 here, we're going to be rapid firing a lot of different things. If you want replays, it's in our YouTube channel. If you're in our Facebook group, you'll also see the streaming under the announcement discussion featured. If you have cameras on, please be mindful of what you're showing. If you have your audio on for whatever reason and you're on a sales call, maybe we can close the deals later together, not during the sessions. But either way, Frank, let's do this. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've covered for day 1 and 2. I'm seeing a lot of new faces as well, so I'm assuming some new people are here. So it might be good if we can just do a power 1 minute day 1 recap and power another minute day 2 recap.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So our first day, we established that there is a type of content marketing that has worked very, very, very well historically. And we saw examples of what that content marketing looked like. And it literally generated billions of dollars and created generational businesses, meaning that like they have passed on through multiple generations of families now, which is cool. And we concluded that those pieces of content marketing were made like 70 plus years ago. Well, not all of them. Some of them are more recent, but a long time ago, before there was the interwebs. So therefore, we were like, wait a minute. If these things worked in the newspaper, and that's really expensive. And in order for people to respond to this marketing, they had to like fill out pieces of paper and mail them. We might not be able to make content as unbelievably good as what these original pieces were, but we can do pretty good. And if we combine that with how cheap and super targeted social media is, then we'll probably do a good job and we'll probably get some results. And the big picture takeaway from day number 1 was, okay, what we want to do is really understand who we're serving, what their major problems are, how we solve those problems. And once we understand that, we kind of make all of our content about that, and specifically more about them and what they're going through and what they want. And so our assignment from day number 1 was just to get one sentence or two that answered that question, which was, all right, what's the biggest question that my market has right now that I can, answer for them? And then you Google whatever their big question is, and then you write a 1-sentence answer to it. All right, so that was day number 1. It's pretty easy. Then yesterday, we got a little bit carried away, which is why today I'm not even giving you slides. I'm just going to go over some overviews and we'll do Q&A. But what we did yesterday is we took that 1 sentence and I showed you how to use GHL's social media planner builder thingy, that's the technical word for it, along with their content AI. And we turned that 1 sentence into a social media post. And we went over how like we don't need to use fancy pictures. And I gave you lots of case studies showing how like really basic social posts that didn't have fancy anything, but just had like solid written content actually made a bunch of money. And we discussed the fact that not only will they go to the web page that you're telling them to go to, but they'll also create something called the halo effect, which is kind of like that rising tide lifts all ships concept, where you'll get a lot of organic traffic and everything just becomes easier as your market begins to feel like they know, like, and trust you, and you become very familiar to them. So we made ourselves a post that was super easy. And then we set up the special Facebook ad campaign, which is dramatically different than a traditional normal Facebook lead gen campaign or anything like that. It's much cheaper. And during that part of it, I showed you how we can really, really get super targeted on who we want to show the ads to. And in our specific example yesterday, we created an ad that was targeted to a tiny audience of like 12,000 people or something that were the perfect possible audience for what I sell. And so I kind of walked you through that process. And that's where we left it off. Your homework was to make 1 post and turn it into an ad. And if you were feeling crazy, make 7 of them and turn all 7 into ads. So you would have a nice little machine there. And I think that's where we left off.
Yeah, I think that's fair judgment. Give me a 1 in the chat in the Facebook streaming if you did at least one of the homeworks, maybe day one or day two, either way, or at least if you attempted at it, maybe you didn't finish all of it. We sometimes give medals for completion instead of just participation. But either way, I want to get a one in the chat if you at least attempted at the homework and it was helpful. Okay, I see a ton of ones coming in. Okay, so day three is going to be interesting. It's going to kind of put it all together in one place for you. And our goal for this workshop is to help you launch your content marketing at the end of the day. And we've looked at different ways to understand the psychology behind, the attack and the strategy. And then we also looked at some technical tools yesterday of using, obviously, the Facebook algorithm as well as high levels AI content stuff. And today we're going to kind of bring it all together. And also, Frank, just to give you a heads up, fair warning, I had a dental procedure done a day before yesterday called Invisalign. It's one of the most craziest things. No one warns you that this thing is very painful. So if I'm making faces at you, just remember, I love the content. I'm not upset about anything.
Sure.
just so
I've
you
heard
know.
this before. Yeah. All right.
All right, so
Always
let's get started with day three, and right at it.
okay, cool. So I guess I'd probably share my screen. That would be helpful.
Yeah, go.
So after yesterday, Paulson and I were talking. I was like, dude, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Naturally. Oh, you got to enable screen share. That's why.
Got it. There you go.
All right.
Okay.
I was like, man, I think because we didn't even have time for Q&A yesterday. So I was like, okay, I'll skip all the slides and stuff today, and I'll just sort of show you the snapshot that I built for you that hopefully will tie all this stuff together. And then I can just answer stuff. So where we left off yesterday was we made this post and we turned it into an ad. And that was pretty easy. And we set our daily budget to a whopping $5. So it started yesterday, it got approved and everything. And between yesterday and now, I have spent, let's see, what have we got? I've spent $4.16. I don't know why I'm not rich yet. This obviously doesn't work, but I'm going to keep at it. All right. And the cool thing to realize about this is look how cheap this is. So this is a very different type of ad campaign. We're going for awareness here. This is a pure branding campaign. So I'm just paying Facebook to show the ad to people, which is like almost, going completely against the grain of what we learned in direct response. However, these people are the perfect people. So I spent $4.16. It showed the ad to 451 unique accounts center accounts. I don't know when they started calling people that, but whatever. And here's the ad, or actually, more importantly, here's the targeting. And this is why this is so cool. So I made a bunch more of them yesterday, by the way, just so I would do what I told y'all to do. Our targeting is what makes this stuff work. So if you'll notice, we're targeting people, specifically men in the United States between the ages of 34 and 55. And they are Facebook business page admins. They are also Instagram business profile admins, and they also have an interest in conversion marketing. So this is laser targeted traffic, all right, and laser targeted advertising. There are only, according to Facebook, within this audience size, there's only around, between 11,800 and 3,900, well, let's say 12,000 people in this whole audience right here. So if we kind of follow along with this basic premise of, all right, if we keep making posts like this and turn them into ads, and we eventually make like 30 of them or something, and we're running them for $5 a day or whatever you want to run them at, I wouldn't go more than $5 a day per post. I'm going to be very, very famous in this group of 12,000 people after about 30 days, because they're going to be seeing at the very least one of these ads every day. So this is the one we made yesterday. I just went and took a bunch of videos and made more just to do it, because I was like, well, I'm already in here. Might as well do it, So this is, I put 9 of them up, and I went crazy. I spent $35, and I got in front of 1,400 people yesterday with well, this one's pretty good targeted messaging. These other ones are kind of random videos, but I wanted to have something to show you. So we've already hit, I don't know what the math is, but not a little bit better than 14% of this entire audience on day number one. So you can see how if we keep doing this, we're going to completely saturate that audience, and they're just going to be seeing good content all the time. And it's about what they want and how they get it. And they're going to start coming to us. And so that's our big strategy. So where I want to like transition to now is the logical question, which is, well, now what? Like, okay, let's say it works, and they're typing in the domain, or they're like clicking on the domain and the copy, or they're remembering it, or whatever, and they're actually starting to go and check us out. Well, we need to send them somewhere. So I have built for you, spelled YEW, a snapshot, and you can have it. And I forgot how y'all get it, Paulson. And there's a URL that you told them, some kind of Google Drive or something. How do they get this, just in case?
Yeah, I'll speak on that. So, for those of you that jumped into a brand new trial and you're partaking in this workshop, you can talk to a live agent if you want, or just go straight to our Google Drive, which is a public Google Drive that you can go to, which is go high level. Let me just type that in: gohighlevel.com/GHL resources. And you'll see multiple programs in there. The 5-day challenge, which is pretty popular, our monthly workshops. I think there's something else in there. I can't remember what it was. I think it's maybe stuff from the mastermind. By the way, mastermind's about to get launched, so get your tickets. But either way, there's a Google Doc in there that I've created under Frank Kern's folder. And in there, you'll get, I think, 3 Loom videos that Frank recorded explaining the snapshots. And you also get the links to the snapshots. So you can literally just download it all by yourself. It's not complicated. If guys like myself and Frank can do this, I promise you, you can do it, because we don't see ourselves as smart people when it comes to the tech. But either way, yes, it's all in that drive. Take a look at it. Another thing, Frank, I know before we go further into the snapshot, I've got a couple of things that I want to unpack with you. The targeting that you set is really around your brand, right? So the digital entrepreneur, the marketing consultant, professional, that kind of a space is the targeting that you kind of launch. Okay, is that
like, so not really, because all I was like a person in the US, and I chose men between 34 and 55. One reason is I want this audience to be small. I don't want it to be huge, because I want to totally saturate this audience. So, that's like one of the reasons I've narrowed it by age and gender so much. Also, typically, this is who buys from me, or people in that age range and that gender, so might as well. But the logic here is I just want people who have businesses. All right. So
what you're saying is this would work for local businesses.
Oh my God. It's way easier for local businesses. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the biggest question, because a lot of folks are in the early stages of launching SaaS, or they maybe in the early stages of starting a marketing agency and then realizing SaaS is a whole lot better. And there needs to be a way to just really attack the local market. So what you're saying is I can use the same targeting parameters and maybe put in a city instead of US, and really maybe that's the only big difference, and attack and blanket a city and have probably one of the largest air covers.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I just duplicated one of those ad sets, and we'll do it real quick. So I'll just make new targeting. So everything's the same, daily budget's the same, and I'm just going to change our targeting here. So I'll get rid of all of my interests first. All right, so let's just get out of there, get out of here. Okay, y'all good? Is that huge? Okay, cool. So now for locations, this is what you can do. This is really cool. I'll get rid of United States. I'm just going to type in a physical address here. Well, actually,
La Jolla, since you're there, get you some.
Yeah, let's do La Jolla. La Jolla, California. All right, so we're a neighborhood now. But if you're like in Miami or something, like don't just put Miami, because it's freaking huge. Okay. So this only is telling me I've got between 3,800 and 4,400 dudes between 34 and 55. So I'm like, okay, I can expand this gender to all. And now it's still just telling me, okay, I've only got 85 to 10,000, 8,500 to 10,000 people. So that's not targeted enough. And it's like can be improved. So because I don't have to physically drive to their location, I'm going to also add some other neighboring coastal cities for me, such as Del Mar.
Yeah, back when I was advertising for dental, dentists, and they would want me to target like an affluent area because it's just all mixed up. So what we would do is find affluent zip codes and just create a list of zip codes that were above the $250,000 salary household income, and we would just blanket it. So we basically exclude all the hoods. That was that was the strategy for whatever reason for these dental procedures at the time. So yeah, you
Well, that would make sense to a degree. All right, so now it's like messing me up here. Let me hit refresh. So when in doubt, hit refresh, and that is the magic thing for me. So I'm just going to expand it to San Diego because, like, I mean, La Jolla really is tiny. So
sure.
I'll make it a little bit broader. But the point is, we want to make sure that this audience isn't huge. That's the big deal because we want them to get saturated. So let me go back over here to locations. I'll type in San Diego. Come on. Oh, this is why. Where are you? San Diego, California. Can you just make it easy? San Carlos? Can you just not? There we go. There we are. I thought for a minute they just wouldn't let us target San Diego at all. I'm like, fine, y'all. Okay, so now there's like a gazillion people in here, which is fine. So I'll narrow my radius down a little bit. All right, that's good enough. Well, here, let's go down a little bit more. I don't speak Spanish too well, so I'll keep it there. Okay, so that's a ton of people. So now what we'll do, I got my age range. Let's say, okay, I'll just do a gender because it makes it smaller, right? That's still pretty big. So now what we can do here for detailed targeting is one, if you go here, like this little browse button in Facebook's targeting, they've got some amazing built-in targeting. For example, I believe it's under demographics. We can click under work. Let's see. No, not work. We can find new businesses. Hang on. Is it interests? It's in here somewhere.
Yeah,
Business and
each one of these categories, if you were to use the traditional objectives, maybe not the awareness one, but the other ones for leads, you'll see the significant cost difference between in interest versus behaviors versus places. Like every single one of those have different associated costs to it. So you definitely want to test these things out. We are in the awareness objective from an advertiser standpoint. That's point is to blanket and saturate a small audience so then you become kind of the expert in that space. So what are we looking at here on the new business in the
Well,
last?
we got our choices under 2 years old, under 12 months old, and under 6 months old. I'll try under 12 months to see what we got here. All right, so that's 1,500. That's a little too small.
Yeah.
So let's add also.
And you like the audience size to be around 8,000 to 15,000? Is that what your target is that the range that you like, Frank?
I like it to be under 50,000.
50. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So this is still
Too
this is
small.
quite big enough for me. So I'm going to go to all genders here.
Okay.
And that's perfect right there. All right. So we have new and active businesses
Okay.
here. And so, like, that is a totally viable target market right there. Like, we don't need to get so granular as, okay, they also have to be Facebook business admins and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is fine. That's a,
Cool.
so if you just chose that in your local market, you would be good, you know. So I would go with this one for sure. But like if it wasn't, let's just say this was really huge, all you got to do is click narrow audience and you can add in things to like shrink it down by saying, okay, they must also like social media marketing, or they must also be Facebook business page admins or whatever. But that's the idea. Like, we don't want it to be a bigger than 50,000 person audience. It just becomes very hard to saturate.
Got
So
it.
like this
So
audience right here, we could be like the most famous person in their brain after a month, you know, on $50 a day, easy, because it's such a small group of people. It's just going to be showing them every single day our content if we want to. So Good, we want that. So the idea though is like if they don't have a good place to go, if we don't have a good website or whatever, then they're probably not going to do anything. So I built this stuff for you, and I built you two, and I'll show you the fancier one because my assumption is most people this is going to have a broader range. And so the name of this is, like, I love naming things really brilliantly here, on demand class for high ticket with personal brand pages copy. That's the name of the funnel. And it looks like it's got a gazillion pages, and it sort of does. If you want to, I'm not going to walk you through all of these, but like this top page, if you just preview it, it has video instructions for like the overview of the funnel and how to set everything up and where the emails are and all of that kind of stuff, and how to write the copy. So these are all tutorials on how to write the copy. And the thing that I want to show you is if we take the concept from yesterday, which was let's get an easy to remember domain name, right? Because they're going to be seeing that domain name in your content all the time. And you're also going to tell them, hey, if you want some stuff, go to this domain name. And if we then put a good looking site together like this one for your domain name, and this obviously is not what you would have in the copy, but this is meant for you to rewrite.
It's basically a template that you can essentially take and structure and brand. So when Frank is saying this is a good site, we're not talking about the branding, design, touches. We're talking about the structure of the psychology.
Yeah, especially if you're selling B2B. So I have written out kind of dummy copy for you. And I've also made video overviews for you of like, okay, here's what you want to put here. And I've kind of told you what to do in the copy itself, which is sort of meta. I know it's kind of weird. But the point of this is a person after seeing your content can come to this page and they can immediately understand exactly how you can help them and what your process is. And so now you have options of whether you want them to sign up to register to watch an on-demand class like a webinar, or you could replace this with a calendar where they can just book a call with you. So I would strongly recommend using this because it works very, very well. I've tested this layout for this type of stuff before, and it works great. There is a little issue though, and that is, you've probably noticed this if you've ever generated leads or if you've ever been in an agency and you've had clients. It doesn't matter like if 100 people come in here and they register for your lead magnet or want to watch an on-demand class or whatever. Most of them aren't going to book an appointment with you or buy from you immediately. That's normal, right? They're not supposed to. If they did, it wouldn't be, everybody would be rich. We wouldn't need to follow up. High level probably wouldn't need to exist if people just immediately bought our stuff. So I've also given to you corresponding. That sounds pretty fancy.
It is fancy because this is all free for all of you that are watching this. That, honestly, Frank used to charge thousands of dollars for his coaching. I remember those days, like maybe.
Oh, wait a minute. We can't go to that one. That'll show people's names. God help us all. Okay. So I wanted to show you simultaneous stuff. In this funnel, you've got all these different pages, right? So like you could drive them directly to an opt-in page if you want. Which I really do recommend using something with that simple of a layout. It actually works. And we have other types of pages too, such as short form video pages, where you can have shorter videos, and these have like calls to action, specifically where they can apply to book a consult with you. The point is, if you get 1,000 people to come here and register or opt in for your stuff, whatever it may be, most of them aren't going to do what you want to do. So I also have built these follow-up sequences for you. So if you go in your high level and click on automation, all of the email sequences for every step of that great big funnel that I built you are all here. So if you have an existing list, for example, and you want them to go watch your new video pitch about how you can help them, this is the email sequence for it. If people go to your site and they opt in and they want to watch your sales presentation after they opt in, this is the follow-up email sequence for it. And you don't have to really do anything in here other than click on the green envelope and edit the copy here. And like I've made it, incidentally, I really would keep stuff this short. I've made it very templated for you. So you just kind of take the stuff in brackets and replace it with real stuff. And you should be okay. So you don't have to actually worry about setting up the timers and setting up the delay and everything. And the same thing goes for, okay, if they watch your webinar or whatever and they're a lead, but they haven't applied to talk to you, well, here's an email sequence that tells them to go do that. All right. And so again, it's all already built. You just click on the green things and fill in the blanks and you're pretty good. And so instead of thing one, just be like, here's what I can do for you, get you more leads or whatever it may be. I think you get the point, but I can't stress this enough. The amount of money that you're going to make, that I'm going to make, that anyone is going to make is directly proportional to the amount of goodwill we have in the market and the amount of offers we put out there. So if you're putting a lot of content out that says, hey, thanks, here's how to do some stuff. And by the way, if you want a free class or if you want to set up a consultation or whatever, go here. That's building goodwill and making offers. But making offers also involves following up. And the magic formula for making money on the internet or in general really is to get a bunch of leads and then sell them stuff. And the little piece in the middle that everybody forgets about is follow up with the leads. So all of these are pre-built follow-up sequences for you. So I've just kind of made them for you and made video overviews for you that kind of tell you what to do and where to use each one. I wanted to point those out because without this machine, without this engine, all these ads and stuff, these are like gasoline. So this is amazing rocket fuel. But if we're pouring it into an engine that doesn't work properly, then we're really wasting rocket fuel. So here's your really good engine. Please use it. I built it for you for free. I'll show you one more little thing that is very helpful. I believe Chase did this class with y'all. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Chase, where he did a class on Facebook lead gen. Was that Chase that recently did this?
Chase. He did a master class, and you can watch the replay in the YouTube channel or the Facebook group, by the way. But yeah, that was a fantastic class.
So when you get their number, all right, and so when it becomes a lead, pop them into this sucker right here. What this thing will do is there's a little AI booking bot that High Level has that for whatever reason, nobody makes a big deal out of it. I don't know why. I think it's the coolest thing ever. And so it'll check your availability on your calendar and it'll send a little thing that's like, hey, you want me to send over a few available times? We could talk about whatever, getting you more appointments or whatever it may be. And then if they say yes, it just like talks to them over text. And by some magic, I don't know how it works, it books the damn appointment on. It's unbelievable. So drop your leads into here and you'll end up with booked appointments. It's pretty sweet. So there it is. All you got to do is edit what this says and set up a calendar. So you're going to be okay. Please do that.
And by the way, there are two sets of instructional videos. There is one in the first step of these funnels. Both of them, there's instructional videos you can watch. A little bit, some of it might be a little outdated. They've been there for a while. So those of you that want an update, we have updated Loom videos as well that explains everything in the Google Drive. Okay. But one thing I want to just address real quick, Frank, if you could stop sharing for a quick second. Let me just there we go. So Frank, I just want to tell you how thankful I am for what you just did, because you don't have to do what you just did. You've been part of High Level for, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I remember when Robin was telling us for the first time, Frank Kern is actually using the platform, not just have an account. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he's building out workflows and all these cool things. And I'm like, I didn't realize he was like a tech wizard. And what's funny is like the goodwill that you're talking about, you're demonstrating right here. we're not charging anybody here for a snapshot, anybody here for workflows, anybody here for any funnels that cost thousands of dollars and millions of businesses built on that Frank, really doesn't have to give away, but he's intentionally doing this for all of you that are high level family members. Like I didn't even have to tell him to create anything. He proactively chose to do that. So I first of all, I want to say thank you. Those of you that are watching in the streaming, give me a 1 in the chat if you don't mind, as a thank you to Frank. And everybody's getting this for free. Like you're just coming in to high level, learning some of the coolest things on how to build businesses. So I just want to pause for a second and appreciate what you're doing, because the goodwill is what we're demonstrating as we're teaching that right out of the gates.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. You're making me sound nicer than I am. Really, I was like, nobody's going to listen to what I'm telling them. I'm just going to do as much of this as I possibly can for them, so someone will actually take some action and get better results. But your way sounded way cooler, so I'm going to stick with that. Yeah.
So Frank, I know you have a lot of personal branding stuff out there, content marketing. Can we review one of your long form funnels, similar to what you described in the funnels that you're giving away? Is there something that you have out there that already has the copy? I know you like a lot of the long form ones. I remember you sending me one for our SaaSpreneur launch that I had looked at. I remember that. But are there any examples of completed funnels that we can look at in addition to the templates, just as like a housing?
If you want to, you would probably want to Google it. So I mainly promote my software now, and that long form stuff I wrote for you guys hasn't been published yet because we still need to have it reviewed. But if you go here, you know what I can do is I can get PDFs of all of my stuff and give it to you if you want to, my older stuff. Damn it, I clicked on the wrong thing. I can't. Oh, and I'm not even sharing the screen. Sorry.
Yeah,
That
maybe.
would probably help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if you send PDF, like I think people would love your copy style, your copywriting style, and the tone and the language. Like I think you're probably one of the best in the industry personally, and I know you're modest about it, but I mean, there's only a few people that are really good with copy, even just at a basic level. So I think people would appreciate that. But yeah, if you want to share a live funnel that you send traffic to, this type of approach, that'll be cool to see.
So where I send traffic now is more of a lead gen situation, which then sends them 8 billion follow-up messages that send them to pages that expire, and they've expired on me because the timers actually work. But if you want to see some of my copy and stuff, go to FrankKernBook.com. That's a classic one. Yes, that's one of my longer form sales letter. You don't need to buy the book. It's $5.60. Don't buy it. Just look for free PDF of it online. I'm sure it's been ripped off and put up on a gazillion torrent sites. But that's a very enduring sales letter. That thing's been working for, geez, man, since 28.
It's this thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, this is a style that's just so different than most marketing companies out there, right? It's like a letter, basically. Can you explain the psychology behind this? And this seems a little, it's pretty close to one of the templates you have that you provide.
Yeah. So I actually built a similar letter for you guys in the template called Agency Sales Letter with built-in application. And all this letter is doing, and all any of my copy ever really does, is say, here's what I got, here's what it'll do for you, and here's what I want you to do next. And that's sort of the magic formula, which I learned from John Carlton, because one day I was helping some people with a launch, and I was like, oh my God, we still have to write a sales letter. What are we going to do? He's like, dude, just write, here's what I got, here's what I'll do for you, and here's what I want you to do next. I was like, okay. And it worked. So that's really it. And I think a lot of people overcomplicate that, and they try to make the letter about them, and they're like, here's what I got, and here's the whole entire history of my life, and here's all that. And they're like, no one cares. They just care about themselves. And I write everything under the assumption that they're not going to buy it the first time they see it. So I think people think that I write good copy because my copy is very friendly and it's easy to read. It does not grab readers by the throat and force them to buy like a lot of real copywriters, which I don't know why I put that in air quotes. These people are excellent, but I don't do that type of copy because I know, all right, they're probably not going to buy it. They're going to start to buy it and then they'll abandon cart. And now I'm going to send them 47 billion emails, which is why I've built those follow-up sequences for you. Because I know it's like, okay, look, man, it's really hard to get a perfect website and a perfect sales pitch. I've never built one,
Yeah.
but it's not that hard to send a whole lot of follow-up automatically. And that's where the money gets made, is
Got
there.
And even in your, I know you're kind of resistant of the video medium in general, but are there any videos in the email follow-up or, text messages, or are you using video in other areas, even though you're
Oh,
not
hell
on the front end?
yeah. And I do use them on the front end, on my sales pages and stuff for sure. And it's mainly out of laziness, believe it or not, because I don't feel like writing the sales letter. So I'll just talk. And I'm like, all right, eventually they'll buy if I send them enough emails. So that's not necessarily the best thing to model.
Right.
But yeah, I use tons of video. And I built this for you. This, am I sharing?
No, you're not sharing right
Okay.
now.
Here, let me show
Go
you.
ahead.
I
Feel free.
built y'all these sets of pages. And again, like I don't want to bore you with techie stuff, but the instructions on like what to do with this big old funnel right here, they're all here for you. I made like the video walkthroughs. The one about setting up a calendar, of course, like after I made that, high level was like, we're going to make our calendars cooler. And so like there needs to be a updated video on how to set up a calendar, but you get it. But like this is all meant to use video. So the thing that they're opting in for is an on-demand class, which would be video. These pages down here, which is for short form video page with no delay on application. If we go to preview this page, what this is meant to do, this is the instructions, by the way, right here. What this is meant to do is show your leads like one little thing, give them some good content, and then tell them to book an appointment with you. Please edit the copy. I'm just like kind of being exaggerated in my copy here, so don't use that copy verbatim. So to answer your question, yes, I rely heavily on video in all of my stuff. Like it works, and
So
it's easier than
it's just
writing
the
for me.
initial ads and the branding areas that you use the text copy more.
It works better. So I actually use video more out of laziness, but I should be using the text because those print ads, like I showed you in the case studies yesterday, where it's just a picture with words on it as your, graphic, and then there's just here's how to do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
That works better than videos.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you have more things you want to share for day 3, and I don't mean to go, lateral on this. Can you speak a little bit to how you launched Rainmaker? I know that, I mean, we're all high levelers in here predominantly, but can you speak to your launch strategies? Did you use a lot of these things that we're teaching here today? I mean, the whole branding thing, the content machine, like what was that? Help us understand, how you just skyrocketed Rainmaker with a lot of the branding play that we taught.
Well, I mean, I started it in 1999, building goodwill in a market that I've never stopped serving. So when it came time for me to make Rainmaker I had a built-in audience already.
Right.
And my audience is the internet marketing / creator audience, which is a very hard audience to sell to, by the way, because they're naturally extremely jaded, and being highly creative people, they've got the same squirrel focus as I do, and they're not technical, and they want 80,000 features and they're going to use 2 of them. So it was very hard to do, and I'm glad it paid off. But the launch strategy was, one day I was like, well, it wasn't one day. When I first heard about High Level and the fact that you could white label it, I was like, there's no way this is going to work. It's too good to be true. I really didn't believe y'all. I'm
No one
sorry,
does. No one
but
does, by the way. That's the biggest difficulty we have. Our platform is too good to be true, and the marketing and sales message around it is even more difficult, because it's just hard to believe that we have 500 plus features all in one.
Well, and I was like, it can't be any good, like, because the white label fee is $497. I'm like, wait a minute, there's got to be a trick here. So I signed up as just a regular customer, and we used it for a year because I didn't want to sell it if it wasn't good. I mean, that's like how to ruin your reputation 101 is to deliver crap product. So I tested it for a year, and then one day I was like, I'm going to do the software thing, and we did a webinar to launch it, quote unquote. I didn't do a product launch or any of that kind of stuff. I just did a webinar, and the morning of the webinar, we were finishing the order pages for Rainmaker AI. Like, it was so last minute, which I always do things like that. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and let's have it done in 3 days. I'm like, let's do it. And then, of course, it's done imperfectly. And so I have yet to do a formal launch for it, but the mechanism that converts best for it right now is typically people sign up for an on-demand class that shows them like a couple of feature sets, and then I offer them a free trial. It's less than what the price is on the homepage, so they can see it really is a good deal. And that's basically a version of this funnel that I'm giving you right here. Register for an on-demand class, watch it, and then go take the trial. And if you don't take the trial, you're going to get a billion emails, and I use a lot of deadlines and stuff. And that's really the same thing that I talk about now is what I do.
Awesome. So let's do this. Anything else we need to cover for day 3 before we go into Q&A, Frank? Anything you feel like we need to just
please don't overcomplicate it, and don't expect it like to be miraculous. So I do live video calls with our users every Thursday. So we'll do Q&A until we're done. We went 2.5 hours last week. I think they were trying to kill me. And I'll have people on there that are like, I'm going to see if I can make Frank insane. And they'll say something like, okay, I spent $35.71 and I got 3,700 impressions and I haven't gotten any sales yet. And just like, twitching. It doesn't happen overnight, like, please think logically like an actual business person and don't overcomplicate it and give it time.
Absolutely. So if you have questions on things that we shared on day 1, 2, and 3, what I want you to do is post those questions in the Facebook streaming that we're still live, just FYI. And I'm going to pull all those questions, and Frank and I are going to go through and do day 3. Today's the last day, by the way. So we're doing a full Q&A over everything we covered in the next couple of moments here. Let's see. Let me go through the questions here. I'm seeing a couple of questions come in. So we're not going to do the raise hand thing. We're going to go through comments because we can cover more questions that way. Let's see. You go to the top of the streaming. I see. Let's see. So Michelle is asking, new to the ecosystem, does IG have the same process for setting up targeted ads? My market is not Facebook. Yeah, absolutely. You still use the Facebook ad account system, the same exact ad management system that you can just check off a simple box that says add or show people inside Instagram. A lot of folks do testing for Instagram and Facebook separately, so they'll do one ad set for Instagram separately and another for Facebook. But don't assume that your avatar is not on Facebook just because you see more people interacting with you today in IG, Michelle. But yes, you use the same exact process. Nothing really changes. The only thing is the placement of the actual ads that you'll see. Let's see. I'm seeing more questions, but let me see if I can populate them into. First question is from Sharon. Sharon Maroney says, I have never advertised on Facebook. What are my first steps to take if this is my first time ever advertising on Facebook?
Exactly what we just did. I mean, obviously, you should set up a Facebook ad account and all of that. I'm assuming that's been done. But then the stuff we showed on this class, and don't spend a lot of money, just kind of get your feet wet, and make some posts. Don't worry about not having followers. Don't worry if you don't get any likes. I bet I didn't get any likes yesterday. Don't care, by the way. You
Yeah.
can't take them to the bank, but I will tell you, let's see. Let me see if
Yeah.
I got any likes or anything. Yeah, no likes or anything.
Yeah.
No interest in that at all. I just want people to remember the name and go there. That's it. Just want to build some goodwill. So take it easy. Don't be too hard on yourself, and don't be afraid. It's an investment in your business, and it's not normal like for someone to spend $50 and make 5,000 in a day. Sometimes it happens, and when it does, internet marketers, myself included, like to make a big deal out of it. But it's very rare. Like it takes a while. And just take it easy, and be kind to yourself about it, and enjoy it, and you'll find it to be pretty rewarding.
Yeah. So the next question is, what is the actuality of trickling in direct response campaigns? So right now it's all about brand awareness, blanketing them with, that lighthouse brand. But how often or when do you trickle in offers? Like, let's say, is it a monthly thing, once a week, or like what does that look like?
So, first of all, every one of these posts, if we look at this one that we made yesterday, and I know we did it quickly, so you wouldn't have to write or watch me like edit it, but if we look at the copy on this thing here, it makes an offer. If you want to ramp up your email marketing fast, consider taking a look at rainmakerai.com. It's a laid back offer, but it's an offer. So the shortest path from A to B, assuming you're willing to work and actually like do the extra steps. Am I sharing my screen, by the way?
Not right now.
Oh, I'm over here just imagining that you're looking at this stuff I'm looking at. The shortest path from A to B is to run Facebook lead form ads. And when you get the lead, have high level text them back and then actually call them like immediately and continue doing that. So anybody can start selling. So like if someone's willing to do that, you'll be selling stuff like tomorrow if you're willing to keep calling them back and following up with them. So if you run an ad, I'll take my screen real quick. All right.
Sure.
Let's see. So let's just pretend this thing said, read this if you have a chiropractic clinic and you want more appointments. And then that just had a form for them to fill out and said, contact me about getting me more appointments. If you ran that as an ad, it's like a Facebook lead form ad. And again, Chase taught a whole class on it. The people who fill that out are probably chiropractic clinic owners. They want more appointments. And if you call them, and they're probably not going to answer at first, but if you keep calling them over and over and over again, you're eventually going to get them on the phone and you'll sell one of them something. So that's like if you're wanting the fast way, that's definitely the fast way, and that'll get you money very quickly.
Yep, that makes sense. Let's see. I'm looking at, so those of you that have questions, we're not using Zoom for questions or raising hands. Go to the Facebook group streaming, and in the comment section, put your questions down. Ethan and myself are getting the questions kind of put together and having Frank go through that. So Al Schurtenberg says, can it be a newsletter that pops up on LinkedIn versus just Facebook ads mastermind group? So I think his question is, can we change the medium to a newsletter, and could we use LinkedIn instead of Facebook? What are your thoughts?
I don't know what you mean about the newsletter, although if that translates into sending regular emails, then yeah, I would do that. And LinkedIn, I don't know much about it, but in terms of just posting content on there, if you can do the same thing that we're doing, but do it on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
why not? Yeah.
got it.
If you're familiar with it.
So Steve Osborne's asking, for the awareness campaign set, daily budget is set at the ad level. Is there only one ad in each ad set?
Yes. And that's by design, because Facebook's default for each ad set will only show one impression per person every 7 days. So if you have 7 posts and you've done it like each post is in its own little ad set like we did, that means that they're going to see a new post every day of the week from you. And if you have like 30 of them, then they're going to see a whole lot of them, but they're not going to keep seeing the same one over and over again. It's going to rotate through them. So if you got like 30, they're going to see 5 or 6 of them from you every day, but it's going to be different content That's market saturation.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a smaller audience, so it all kind of comes together now. This is how you do it.
Yeah, there is such a thing called ad fatigue. So if you look that up and do some research on what ad fatigue is and how you can avoid those things, these are some of the strategies that tells you, have better content, have more repetitive content that's in less frequency and things like that. There is a strategy on lowering your ad fatigue. So sometimes if you just blanket 100 people for $5,000, Facebook will just stop showing it because they know that that'll ruin the experience of those 100 people in the platform. So look through those and research what ad fatigue is when you get a chance. Upward bound media is asking, I'm assuming we can remove call to action buttons to gain more views, or would it be prudent to keep the call to action to get the few clicks it would garner, knowing we're still getting a lot to type in the website?
In my experience, and this is just mine, so I'm uncomfortable making a blanket statement. I've seen better results without the call to action button, which is why in the ads we built yesterday, I didn't have one. I was like, okay, I'm going to remove this call to action button here because I want them reading the content, because that's the purpose of giving them the good content is they'll read it like, oh man, I'll be damned. And then next thing you know, you're the person that they call when they have the problem.
Right, absolutely. Maher Masa is asking, would it be better to make the ad sequence as every ad in different geographic locations, not to make them in one geographic location, or does it make a difference?
That would be a very bad idea because now they're just like San Diego is going to see one ad once a week, and then another location is going to see another ad once a week. So I would do everything in one audience, whether it's a geographic location or not. I would find one small, super targeted audience like we did and follow the framework exactly. I wouldn't deviate in any way at all from the framework with this particular type of campaign.
Right. I think this is funny. But someone's asking, is rainmakerai.com built on high level, or is he using something else?
Yeah, it's built on high level.
Right. Frank launched his SaaS. How long has it been now? Over a year, I feel like.
It was September 9th of 2022. We got our first paying customer.
Wow.
And so in the morning of September 9th, before we got that customer, like, because we did it from a live webinar and we were finishing rainmakerai.com, like actually making sure the order form works, 20 minutes before going live, of course.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Someone's asking, Chantel and Joseph's asking, would you be please so kind to show us the process of how to split test the ads, or show us how to read results and make decisions based on the results? So I think the idea is like, what is the measuring stick? When do we kill a certain post or not? Or when we find, what are the winners, losers? How do you pick that out?
Okay.
If you can share.
Let's check these guys out here.
Helpful too. That's a great question, Chantel. I don't think we covered that in, figuring out what's a good and a bad when it comes to these branding strategies.
Let's get us a good range here. All right, so this is a like more seasoned campaign. It's doing the same thing.
If you want to share your screen, Frank.
Oh, sorry. You guys, so weird. You guys don't have telepathy. Sorry about that. I don't do split testing of ads on Facebook. For me, I found that like when you click the little split test button thingy, it just costs more and gets worse results. That's just my experience. So personally, I'm like, the hell with it. So I don't do it. Probably not the best approach, but still made it this far. So if we look at these, all right, this is a campaign. I'll look at the engagement, which is what I'm trying to find here. The ones that would have low engagement would be the ones that I got rid of. So all of these have pretty good engagement, meaning that people are checking out the post. They're clicking on it. These are videos in this case. They're watching it, but it's the exact same campaigns. It's all reach objective. It's exactly what I showed you, and I wouldn't kill any of these off. But if I saw one that was like 900 or something for page engagement, I'm like, okay, they're not paying attention to that one. I'll get rid of it. And that's kind of it.
Got it. And I think you know, when you do a lot of this over time, you start to get really good at the angles and the psychology. Like, you know, you'll think about disruptive ways to attack a market. You'll think about creative ideas on like, okay, this person's thinking that. And you'll see because you're evolving as a marketer over time, you'll of course will have winners and losers, and probably old ones become the losers eventually over time.
Yeah, people will get tired of the because there's how many do I have here? Like I turned a lot of them off actually. Look, there were some that didn't work out well. So this is why these are off right now. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, here. Let's see if I can avoid having to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so I've got 9 of these. So I'm going to need to add some more here because after 9 weeks, they've all seen every one of these at least twice. So I was like, okay, I'm going to need to add more content in here.
So what's your scheduling like on this? Like, is it beginning of the month, you just load up a bunch of new stuff and get out of the way? Or is it like on Sundays after football or something? Like, what's your normal routine on like, okay, time to brand it out again?
So I'll do it. I'm going to stop share because I got to pull up a different account here and I don't want to show any customer names because you get in trouble. Um, I think anyway, I'm always paranoid about that. Like, what if you accidentally show somebody's email address on a webinar and they freak out? So let me pull up my social planner for you because I use High Level Social Media Planner. Big fan of it. Okay, I'll go back to sharing the old screen here.
I'm assuming you probably use the scheduler as unless that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a person that goes through that poor guy. He watches all my old content and he makes short form videos out of it. Again, I really should be doing written content. It works better. The only reason I'm using videos because I've got them already and I don't feel like doing the extra work. It is no excuse. You know, it's like going to the doctor and he's like, you have high blood pressure. How often do you walk around the block? I'm like, never. You know, it's the same thing, right? So don't model my laziness. But the dude will make a whole bunch of videos. And if I come over here, he'll make them where they are scheduled for approval. And if I open the planner right here, what I can do is I'll see the ones that he's made, like these are scheduled for approval. And I usually will do nothing and I'll let them all build up. And then I'll look at them and they don't have any copy. You'll notice I'll like go and watch them. I'll add a little bit of copy to them and then I'll just schedule them. And then I go back and I turn them into ads. So that's what I did in this campaign yesterday. So I was like, well, I don't want to make any new posts, but I do want to run more stuff. So I just took, I'll turn that one off. That was the draft when we were making for San Diego. I just took the posts that I made like this week and turned them into ads. That's what all these are. That's all I did. Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Rico Brown. Rico says, Frank talked about the countdown timers within his funnels. How does he make them dynamic for each website visitor's session?
I use something called Deadline Funnel, which is a software by a dude named Jack Bourne, who's super cool and super nice. And it will no longer be necessary in January because our homies at High Level are making the same type for us.
Cool. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. Good to
I
know.
did, man. I've been like, yo, please make the timer because we can't have a timer that doesn't actually expire anymore. It's like you can't do it. It's not compliant. And so we'll have it in January. Yay.
Cool.
Yep.
So Al says, so $1,500 a month, roughly for a 3-month period at $50 a day. Is that right on your branding budget for a month usually?
For me, I'll go more or less. Sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants with this stuff a lot. You know, I'm so focused on, okay, let's make sure we keep our software customers happy. And I do all of our marketing that I don't plan it out that strategically. But yes, it sounds reasonable. Like this campaign that I've been running here, these two, we look at them. What do we spend over the past 30 days for them? I bet it's going to be somewhere around there. I got the right report here. Let me find a report for us. Blah, blah, blah. Where are we? $3,500.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I spent a little bit more, but whatever, you know. There's a lot of ad sets in there. Look at these. There's a whole bunch of content going out.
Interesting. Sorry,
Yeah.
I've got a little Maltese poodle right under me barking. Patrick says, how long do you run the same ads? When do you start and stop the ads from day one? Is there a timeline that you choose? I guess we just spoke over that.
Yeah, I have no strategy for it other than I'll check them and be like, wait a minute, if no one's interacting with these things,
Yep.
I should probably turn them off.
Yep.
That's
Let's
about it.
see. Um, Mr. Hernandez here says, Frank Kern, what book do you recommend to learn copywriting? I know there are very costly courses and programs, but do you have a book recommendations on copywriting skills?
Yeah, Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy, probably $11 or something on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I would couple that with writing copy a lot. So if you write a sales letter a day for a month, you'll be better than 90% on planet Earth at writing sales copy. It could be a sales letter about anything. It doesn't matter. But if you just sit down and like, I'm just going to do this, damn it, I hate it, like going to the gym or something, you know, you'll be amazing in 30 days.
Awesome. Next question. If you are still exploring different markets and you've got a memorable domain reflecting a result they all want like you showed on day one, the question is, if each of the markets are different from each other, how do you make content relevant for each market? Because I'm concerned some of the general marketing stuff won't be relevant to each specific avatar. And by the way, this is really great info. Thank you, Frank. But yeah, I guess the question is attacking multiple markets at the same time.
Well, I'm going to be a mind reader, and I hope this doesn't come off as rude. It sounds like the kind of thing I would say if I was worried about failure and didn't want to experience failure. So I'm going to make up a bunch of what if questions to then feel like I'm doing something instead of just actually saying to hell with it. Let's see what happens. So I would just do it, because if you're selling B2B, which I'm assuming most folks here are, they're like high level agency people, then everybody wants the same thing, which is more customers consistently.
Yeah.
That's it. I hit that microphone on purpose. That was a cool way to do that. So it's like I really wouldn't worry too much about it. You know,
Yeah.
my stuff is pretty generic, and I'll take anybody as long as they're not breaking the law or whatever. As
Yeah.
a customer, doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me.
In the 5-day challenge program we have, by the way, that's another free program we have if you want to ever get signed up. And we teach people how to get your first paying SaaS customer. And the question comes up, same thing you just asked. How do I attack multiple markets? I think you don't need to niche down when it comes to SaaS or even agencies in today's world, because almost every industry needs marketing. So what I recommend is narrowing it down to like a local attack. So you go after local clients, so that way there is some sort of a focus. You still need a focus, and eventually you'll be able to test out 5 or 6 different markets, and you can then pick the 3 or 4 that you're going to really focus in on. And now, I don't know if you know this, High Level came out with multi-branding white labeling, so you can have multiple brands at the same time. I don't know if it's out yet, but if it's not, it's coming to you soon in one of those Sean coming at you live Bloom videos. I'm pretty sure it's already out, but either way, you focus locally. You don't need to go after multiple industries all at the same time, is what I would recommend when it comes to SaaS. And Frank, did you niche down at all for Rainmaker?
No, and I would not do what I did with Rainmaker. So if I had this to do over and I didn't have the existing audience that I already have, there's absolutely no way I would go and build like, here's this thing with 8 million features. I kind of had to, because that's what my market wants. And this is the market I have. And it would be stupid not to serve my existing audience, you know?
Right.
But just to put it into context, my payroll and all we do is support Rainmaker is $47,000 a month to support when you're trying to be like, we got this and we got this and we got this and we got this. Simplest thing that I've seen for agencies that just want to get customers is to go after any business type that is local, doesn't have to be in your city, but I just mean like a real, business that's exists and is not just selling e-com or whatever. Not there's anything wrong with that. A local established appointment based business.
Yeah.
Um, and then just get them appointments. And that's the whole service is like, I will set this machine up for you that gets you appointments. And then you just use High Level's AI booking bot. So people fill out a Facebook lead format that's got their phone number in it. High Level's booking bot texts them back and forth, books an appointment. And they're like, I'd have that one feature. That's all we talk about, and that's it. So I've helped like 400 something agency owners just do that.
Yeah.
And that works really, really well, as opposed to let me show them 20 different, I mean, this thing really does. Like, High Level's got so many damn features. It's unbelievable. And of course, our guys, Rainmaker folks, want all of them. They don't use them all, but they're like, can we do this? I'm like, well, yeah, if you want to complicate the hell out of everything you can, here
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
And this is a common problem, right? Like you all as marketing professionals, you're going to be naturally excited for the amount of cool things you're going to have inside High Level. And I promise you don't need all of it. In the 5-day challenge, our masterminds, our conferences, I mean, our breakout sessions, other webinars, we teach to just lead with one feature that's relevant to the market, land and expand later within the 72 hours of onboarding, get them to maybe use 3 or 4 areas of the platform and not overcomplicate it. And now we even have limitations on account admins, user admin, agency admin, so you can even turn off features that you feel like might overwhelm your customer base. But think like a software company instead of an agency. There's a slight shift there that it takes a little bit of time to see, because what you want is the right usage right out of the gate within the first 10 days. And for that to happen, it's better to not overwhelm them. Daniel's asking, do you recommend, so we've got about 10 more minutes of Q&A, so ask all your questions as quick as you can, and we're going to just rapid fire, okay? Daniel's asking, do you recommend initially hiring a mentor in order to scale your marketing business?
No, I don't think you need it, unless there's like a specific skill set that you want to learn, then yeah, but mentor is a very broad term. So the magic formula is get leads, sell them stuff. And a good mentor, if you're in that startup phase, is just basically going to be someone that said, have you followed up? How about now? Did you follow up with them? Did you follow up with them again? Did you follow? And that's all they need to be doing. So if you just have the self-discipline to follow up, you don't need anyone to tell you to do it over and over again.
Yeah. Someone said liquid death, hashtag. They're talking about your drink.
Well, today I'm like doubling down on tough guy, and I'm drinking pink, bubbly grapefruit flavored soda water out of my tough guy mixed martial arts combat mug that I have right here. So, boom.
Bob is asking question, how do you set up retargeting audience if you're only using text and no videos?
Oh, it's easy. It's people who engage with your page. So retargeting audiences can be built off of all manner of activity and page engagers, which is why when we're looking at this thing, I'm like, okay, where were my engagements? Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, but remember earlier, I was like, okay, I'm looking for how many people engaged. Everybody who engaged is someone that's now on your retargeting audience. They don't have to view a video.
And I think you could even pick a timeline of somebody that engaged within 90 days or 30 days or even 20 days. So like a lot of new folks, they think video retargeting is the only way to retarget based on percentage watched, but that's definitely not the only way. And matter of fact, I don't even think that's an effective way. Page engagement is really good. Page visitation is probably even better because somebody landed and there's a pixel that's fired off. So definitely use the cool stuff Facebook and all these platforms give you. They're there for a reason. Let's see. Someone's asking, Ben's asking, hey, how do I access the snapshot and the giveaways? First, if you don't have a High Level account, go to, oh, you know what? I forgot to share this, Frank.
Dude, speaking of page engagement, so for my little $3,500 spend, I now have a retargeting audience of 77,196 people. That's how many people just from that particular campaign that I showed you, where I was like, all right, here's what I've been doing for the past month. That's
Yeah.
a freaking like, and that those are likely people who have engaged multiple times because they've been seeing my content over and over and over again. That's a 30-day audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
super targeted, by the way. Very, very targeted.
yeah, and if you so those of you that are watching this and you tend to watch a lot of the workshops we do, we talked about the webinar strategy with Andy Audet. We talked about paid ads workshop with Ali Bloyd. We talked about launching your social media positioning and offers, the right offers with Adam Earhart. And now we're doing content marketing with Frank Kern. If you combine a lot of these strategies, I refuse to believe that you won't be able to launch your SaaS or your agency properly. Like so take a little bit of everything and kind of create your own recipe, and I promise you you'll go far. I forgot to share this today. Let me just go ahead and share this so I don't forget about it. But this Friday is the deadline for this offer, by the way. For those of you that are watching this workshop, maybe even on replay, and if you don't have a high-level account, we are providing a 30-day trial to either the 97 or the 297 plan, or you can simply upgrade and grab all the goodies at gohighlevel.com/Frank Workshop offer. Okay. Now, if you have access to high level, you'll be able to easily get into our Google Drive, and you'll be able to see all the collateral. So we have in there instructional videos, snapshots, all of that. But either way, this is the actual link for you to take advantage of the 30-day trial and or upgrade, and you can grab all the snapshots, the funnels, everything we taught, all for free. Matter of fact, you get all the collaterals from almost every workshop we've ever done in that Google Drive. So you get access to it. So take advantage of it. You more than likely won't be able to access the Google Drive or install a snapshot without a high-level account. You need a high-level account to install a snapshot. So before I forget, I just wanted to just make sure I presented that slide. Let's see. Let's see. Our replays are in the YouTube channel, you guys. So take a look at it and or the discussions here in the Facebook group, and you'll be there. Steve Osborne says could not see an option to show easy to remember domain URLs in the awareness campaigns. Therefore, is it only clickable link the URL I added to post itself? It might make sense to add a call to action button. What are your thoughts? Like, do you go with the memorable domain or a
Yeah.
call to action? Okay.
Well, if you want to do both, then do both. But memorable domain, like very important, because you can still have a call to action that goes to the memorable domain if you want to, but you want them to be able to recall that domain because that method works. There's a reason why companies spend billions on this type of advertising, is it works. And now we have the ability to do it at a tiny granular, super micro targeted level without spending billions. So it's kind of an amazing time to be in business, in my opinion.
Jeffrey says, is it worth it to do Facebook ads if you have a small budget? Let's say $500.
I would do lead form ads. Like if that's literally all the money that you have, I would do lead form ads for sure. And I would make them like, I would just take Chase's course because he knows what he's talking about. And then I would expect them to not immediately buy your stuff. So you get a lead and you got the best ad ever, and you have an amazing website and it looks perfect, and your copy is the best sales copy in history. I still wouldn't expect any of those leads to buy. You're going to have to follow up with them a lot. And I would not be shy for picking up the phone. Like if you only have $500, you need to be on the phone calling those leads and fixing that problem immediately.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to go away without it.
Yeah, and matter of fact, if you only have $500 budget, I would say jump into the 5-day challenge where I teach you how to get your first paying customer so you can have more than a $500 budget. And then our marketing team put together lead form, direct response, paid ads already completely for free that you can take and just simply implement with your language on it. And that you get all of that for free to be part of the 5-day challenge. Just FYI, comes with funnels and snapshots and all these stuff in there as well. But yeah, don't even have to guess the lead form ads. You get that for free in the 5-day challenge. So take a look at that, especially if you're balling on a budget. Let's see. If you have a small market like 10,000 people, approximately for how many weeks would we do the air cover with 7 to 14 ads?
Forever.
Okay, so don't turn it off if it's working, right?
Well, why would, I mean, unless you just want to be out of business, you know, I mean, it's not going to put you out of business to turn it off. That's not what I meant. But as long as you want to continue getting customers, I would keep doing it. I wouldn't only do this, by the way. Like, this is just very low hanging, long term fruit. It's like, okay, if you just start doing this consistently, it's literally the equivalent of walking around the block. You know, day one, it's like, oh, I don't look like Dwayne Johnson yet. But if you keep doing it, you're going to drop the weight. Your blood pressure is going to go down. You're going to feel pretty good. The same thing. Like, I always do it forever and ever and ever and ever.
Awesome. I see a few more questions here, but we're almost out of time, so we'll go through. Frank and I will. Frank, are you in the Facebook group?
I don't get on Facebook, believe it or not, except to run ads. I'm an anti-social media person.
It's so funny. But in case if you ever do decide to change your mind and jump into our Facebook group, there's a few questions in there for you. So I would definitely appreciate you just kind of engaging if you can. But any final thoughts that we can just kind of close out the workshop here on the 3 days? I know there's a lot to cover. There's even more to this. This could be something we talk about for 2 weeks, to be honest.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate it. And everything's going to be imperfect. You know, please don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up if it's not the greatest post ever. And if you don't get any likes, and God forbid, like someone says something mean, it is the internet. You're not there to punch them in the mouth. So they probably will. Don't worry about it. Just have some fun, do the best you can, and follow up with people, please. None of this stuff works without the follow up. You know, there's just no point. So if we don't have follow up, then all this other stuff, we're just wasting our time. So I
Yeah.
beg of you.
And what is the follow-up system? Like, is it like 8 to 20, 12 touch points? Is it phone calls? Is it emails, all of the above?
It's all of the above. Yeah. So we try to have like daily emails going out. I don't do a lot of phone stuff just because I'm weird. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I just get uncomfortable with someone else. I don't know if they're going to lie. I've never had that happen, but I'm just paranoid. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have like telemarketers or anything. But if it was just me and I was starting out, I would definitely call my leads. Like, hey man, thanks, you filled out my form on Facebook. You know, like, what are you all trying to get done? What do you need help with? That's my whole pitch. They tell me, and if I can help them, I'll be like, oh, okay, I can help you with that. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
There we go. You know, and they'll say yes or no, and I'll say bye or okay, sign here. I wouldn't overcomplicate any of this stuff.
Awesome. Any last words that you can talk specific to your SaaS launch? I know SaaS is something that's really big in the high level space, but for those, there's a few people that are in here, Frank, that don't even have a high level account. They have no idea what SaaS is. Can you speak to the power of SaaS a little bit? I know our good friend Russell said all roads lead to subscriptions at some point, but can
Yeah.
you speak to that?
Yeah, so it means it stands for software as a service. And high level, first of all, is a great product. So even if you don't resell it, it's still like, I've been doing this since 1999. So I've used ClickFunnels, Infusionsoft. I haven't used Salesforce. I've used HubSpot, Constant Contact, MailChimp, like all of them. I've used them all. And by far, high level is the best one. I've had the best experience as a customer before I ever became a partner and started reselling it. Just a regular person off the street. It freaking works. And it's ridiculously underpriced, which is great. So we have that. Like, it is a reliable, solid tool. When you ever decide to, if you want to white label it and actually resell high level as your own product under your own brand, you can do it. And I didn't believe this either at first. So I would completely understand any skepticism here. It's $4.97 a month. And you like, if you go sell it, you keep whatever you charge. It's ridiculous. So I did that in 2022 and we started Rainmaker AI, and it has worked out exceptionally well. It was hard going at first. It wasn't that hard to get customers because I already had an existing database, and internet marketing people like to buy new tools and new stuff. But it was hard to keep them at first because we didn't know how to support that many customers. And there's a lot of features on this thing. But we kept at it. And I invest very heavily now in keeping our customers and customer support. It is a multi-million-dollar recurring, it doesn't do multi-millions a month, but annually. It's a unbelievable business. Like I could just vanish and it would continue to provide for my family, assuming that our customers kept being customers and everything. And so it's absolutely amazing. It's the best business model in the world, in my opinion. So we've been thrilled with it. It's been wonderful. The main way we get customers now is through exactly what I showed you, which is people opting in to watch a sales presentation and they get a billion follow-up emails. That's method number one. Method number two is Facebook lead form ads, where they like just give us their name and email address and phone number, and they may or may not actually watch our sales video, but we text them back and forth and we get them to take a trial. That's it. We found it's easier to sell an annual package and bribe them into buying like a $1,400 or $1,500 annual package if we give them a lot of information, like a lot of free courses as bribes. However, we have deliberately chosen to make less money by going with the free trial route, because the free trial person that sticks with it is worth a lot more money over time. So that's what we've learned. And I would, my biggest regret professionally, one of them is not doing this sooner. Like for me, it's a dream come true. Like this is all we do. It's our whole business. It's just, I don't have a mastermind. I don't have a platinum level, it's like there's Rainmaker AI at the end. That's all we got,
So what we're saying is, if you are a marketing professional, online person, online entrepreneur out there, and if you are ever interested in launching a software company, you can take High Level's features, create your own subscription plans, go charge the market whatever you want, and High Level lets you keep 100% of that revenue. In addition to rebilling, email, all that revenue as well, you keep all of it. And the only thing with High Level is the same exact monthly fee. Instead of you having to go raise millions of dollars and go put together a development team to go build these features out, will become basically your development arm, and you keep the money. So this model is definitely, the best in the world, in my opinion. I mean, even car makers are now wanting to charge $9 for heated seats as a subscription every month. It's ridiculous,
That's smart. Yeah, I would do that. That's smart.
But either way, thank you everyone for watching. Frank, appreciate you jumping in. This was awesome. We had 3 full days of a lot of different things to cover, and hopefully a lot of people got a lot of cool things out of this, and you got the snapshots, the giveaways, the funnels. In case anybody want to take advantage of a 30-day trial, consider it. If you want to upgrade, consider it. If not, no worries. But we just wanted to at least show you that what's possible. But anyways, have a good rest of your afternoon. Thank you, Frank. I'm sure I'll see you again, either at one of these live events, masterminds, or another webinar we may do later. But appreciate you, man.
All right, dude. Thanks for having me. Thanks, y'all, for attending. I appreciate it. And thanks for your questions. And try this stuff. It's pretty fun. And just keep at it, and you'll end up doing pretty. Hey, if I can do it, I mean, come on. Good Lord. Enough said. Right. Okay. Take it easy, y'all.
All right. Bye, everybody.